A Quiet Place. So Quiet Place is a movie about a post-apocalyptic world where basically silence is survival. That's a perfect way to describe it. And if you talk, you're going to get killed by these monsters. And there's this family that lives in this world, and they have to survive in it. Basically the premise. Alright, first off, roles in this movie. Everybody in this movie killed it. I'm not remembering who directed it. It's the dad in this movie. He's from The Office, one of the best comedies of all time. Or comedy shows. Whatever. The point is that Emily Blunt is in it, and I'm not remembering his name, the other guy's name, but they're both in it. And then the two children in this movie, fantastic. Everybody in this movie blew it out of the roof. Alright, let's just go over the things I didn't like, because the good really outweighs the bad in this movie. So I'm going to talk about the things I didn't like. The aliens in this movie, they're kind of just your typical alien. They're just like, they're very typical. They have the same design as most aliens. They, have the same sound effects. They have, the same, motions. They're basically your typical aliens, only they're blind. But that doesn't do a lot. I mean, I've seen quite a lot of blind creatures in movies. That's just a thing I see. And granted, I'm not a fan of horror. I mean, I've seen horror movies before, sure, but I've never been really a fan of them. I've just never found the whole jump scare thing exciting until this movie. This movie really proved to me that horror movies can be really good. And granted, I said that a lot of creatures that are blind, I've seen that concept before a million times. However, this movie puts it into a direction that makes it really good. And for the first third of this movie, a couple sounds are made. It is completely silent. It's just silent. A silent movie, I don't see that these days. I mean, dialogue-less movies, yeah, but here's what you have for the first 30 minutes. You have sign language, no sound other than the score. There's music going out through the whole movie, pretty much. There's actually, only a few songs. And also, there are only, I believe, 6 actors in this movie. Only 6. And this movie's world building is really good. It doesn't tell us what actually happened, where these monsters came from, really what happened. But all we know is that you live in this society where you have to be quiet. That's just how you live now. Children are meant to be pretty loud. In fact, humans are loud. So the society is so hard to live in. I love the way they take that in this direction. This movie does silence so well, and in fact, it really makes you think. In fact, when I got home, I was just so silent. I was like, that was so good. I regret I had 30 minutes to think about Adrift. It was the 30 minutes between the two movies. I was just thinking about Adrift, okay, was that good, was that good? Then A Quiet Place started, locked in the whole time. The movie, I was locked in the whole time. And at the first part of this movie, I was just like, is there going to be a jump scare? Is there going to be a jump scare? Because I haven't seen a horror movie in quite some time. So I was super worried the whole time. Eventually, I started to lock myself in. By that point, I loved this movie. And God, in the silent world, a world where there's no sound, this movie is so intense. Oh God, this movie's intense. For the first, pretty much the whole movie is just tense. And you're like, is there gonna be a monster? Are they gonna make a noise? And then always you always have to think this thought of, don't do it. You're gonna make a sound. And also, granted, with this movie, you kind of have to, this movie really respects your intelligence. A lot of movies I've seen there's no exposition. There's no exposition in this movie. The whole movie, you look at it, you see what's happening. There's basically no exposition. In fact, there's only one exposition scene. That's because they have to explain something to the children in the movie because they're children. But I really like that. I really understood what was happening the whole time. I understood why they were doing. There was little exposition. And I hate exposition because it's so cringy. Suicide Squad. But this movie had barely any. Loved that part. This movie also has to work without dialogue, only sign language through the whole movie. That can be hard to develop characters. Actually, there's a really good family arc in this movie. It's super well done. Even though everything is sign language, and it almost makes you well up in tears by the end. I almost cried at the end. I almost screamed and cried in this movie. This movie also could have done a lot. It could have used jump scares so well. It could have just been silent for so long and then boom, loud noise and then a giant monster comes in. It could have done that. It could have done that. But it didn't. Jump scare is the cheapest way to make someone jump or like just get scared in a movie. That's the cheapest way to make an intense movie. This movie just didn't do that. I mean, there's a loud noise in the quiet a lot, and that's pretty jumpy, like you jump back at those scenes. But that, in this movie, it's really not in it. This movie really could have done that, and it could have just gone the lazy route, but instead it went more. I absolutely loved that. I'm really not a fan of horror. Till this movie got 95%. I was like, I'll see it in the theater. I'll see it, like, later. Then eventually I was like, I'll see it in the theaters. So I saw it in the theaters. Why did I not see this on opening weekend? I regret it so bad. I'm going to try and make more horror reviews. Horror movies, or thrillers, or whatever you want to call them, they granted are usually rated R. I don't review rated R. I just don't watch rated R. That's just me. So, any reviews for movies that are rated R, that are thrillers or horrors, I'm not going to review those. Just movies like A Quiet Place, I'm going to review. And I'm not going to review Winchester and Truth or Dare, because those two are bad reviews. Do I have to review those two? Do I have to? No? Thank you, because I already saw Show Dogs. I don't want to do that again. And this movie is just so well made. Like, there's like little, I mean, there's like probably like 4 sets in this movie. And they all made sense. They all worked. I thought everybody in this movie did great. The family emotion was fantastic. This movie just worked so well for me. Guys, in the end, A Quiet Place is one of the most creative movies I've seen all year. It's so well done. It's so well made. I loved everything out of this movie, other than the aliens' designs and pretty much a lot of the alien stuff. I really liked it. This movie, at the end, I was like thinking, this is going to drag on, isn't it? It actually cuts it at an end that makes sense. An end that mind-blowingly respects your intelligence. This movie was so well made. I'm going to buy this movie on DVD. I really liked it. I think that A Quiet Place deserves a 9. God, I should have made that top 10 best, 5 best of the year today. Then A Quiet Place would have been on there. Alright, so upcoming reviews. I'm going to make it down. I'm really trying. I believe I'm going to get to do a Won't You Be My Neighbor review soon. I really want to see that movie. It's like getting smashing reviews. Everybody loves it. So I'm going to go see it. It's like limited, so I have to find a theater in town for that. But yeah, other reviews like that, I'm getting Ant-Man and the Wasp. I'm seeing that one on opening night. Hyped for that one. And then after that, I think I want to go watch Hotel 3 because I like other Hotel Transylvanias. Mission Impossible looks cool. So yeah, we got some upcoming stuff. But for now, I'll see you guys next time.